Yes, sir.
Few teams,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, madam. Thank you,
Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
thank you.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Okay,
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Moving ahead, as we step into another enlightening session, we are privileged to explore one more most transformative paradigm in modern education, outcome-based education. The session titled Principle of Outcome-Based Education, a roadmap to measurable learning, promises to offer deep insight into how institutions can move from traditional teaching methods to measurable goal-oriented learning outcome aligned with SDGs. It is indeed an honor to welcome our esteemed speaker, Professor Dr. Manjula Jain, a distinguished academic leader, a visionary in higher education. With over 26 years of illustrious experience, Dr. Jain has been a driving force behind academic excellence, policy innovation, and transformative learning at Teerthanker Mahaveer University, where she currently serves as the Dean Academics. A gold medalist, UGC NET qualified scholar, and a doctorate in management, Dr. Jain's career embodies a rare blend of scholarship, leadership, and global exposure. She has successfully spearheaded the implementation of outcome-based education and NEP 2020, ensuring measurable learning outcomes and institutional excellence. Her leadership extends beyond academic. As the director of TMU Business Incubation Center and president of the IIC, she has nurtured innovation ecosystem that have attracted national and international recognition, securing funding of over 9 crore from prestigious government agencies such as DST, MSME, and Ministry of Education. Dr. Jain's global vision is reflected in her collaboration with top university and organizations across the globe, including Monash University, Australia, UPM Malaysia, Westford Education Group UK, City, and Bosch India Foundation. With over 80 research papers and multiple patents and numerous accolades like the Best Dean of the Year Award, Leading Women Leader Award, and Academic Excellence Award, she continues to inspire educators across India and beyond. A true change maker and mentor, Professor Manjula Jain stands as a beacon of progressive education, empowering institutions to move from goals to measurable outcomes and from learning to lifelong impact. We are proud to announce that Professor Manjula Jain, Dean Academics at Teerthanker Mahaveer University, will also be representing India at the Global Higher Education Summit, being organized by 4 leading nations in November. Her participation symbolizes India's growing leadership in global education and reforms, TMU's commitment to advancing excellence and sustainability in higher education. We are truly privileged to have her with us today. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly allow us to witness your expertise. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Neha, for such an introduction that you have given. It's an honor to be there as a resource person, and whatever I have gained as an experience throughout these years, I would be more than happy to share with my audience. And please let me know that how can we have the mutual learning with each other, because the topic that we are going to discuss today is of relevance to all the educational institutions, not only with respect to the quality education that we all need to impart, but also to serve a higher goal, and that is sustainable development goal. And since this whole FDP aligns around the SDGs, so we have a larger onus as the educators and the teachers that how we can shape the future of the citizens, the youth of this country, so that they can contribute towards all those 17 goals that we are required to fulfill by 2030. So with this, I would request all of you to please give a patient hearing, and the session is going to be long, but I would ensure that you are not bored of. And since there will be a series of quizzes also intermittently or at the end, please stay tuned for that. So I'll ensure that none of you blinks an eye or have a nap, and keep your registers also open, because there will be few learnings that you are going to get from this FDP. So with this, I'll be starting this FDP with a clip. And let me see whether that place. Neha,
Yes, ma'am.
can you make that clip play on this?
Okay, okay, ma'am.
And if it takes time, then we can start with the slides also.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
Is it running?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you want us to start your PPT?
Yeah, I have already shared this.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So I think it's visible to everyone. Hello?
Ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So are the this audio freely available? Like people can talk if I want to interact with them, or you have muted them off?
Yes. No, no, ma'am. They can interact.
Okay. So may I know that how many of the institutions they have started or they have implemented the OBE framework at their institution? You can please share your comments in the chat box. Okay. I've got only one response. So I would presume that we all in the process of learning, and gradually I think we'll be able to have more and more of the learnings. Yes. So now the principles of outcome-based education, a roadmap to measurable learning. And outcome-based education has been a conundrum for many of us, that how do we interpret outcome-based education, what outcomes we are actually trying to get from our students, from our future citizens that we are going to produce from our institutions. So before we dive deeper into this, let me have some questions from all of you. And this is not for me to get any answer. This is for your self-introspection. So with this, this is a very, very important question.
Ma'am, can you please make it full screen?
Yeah, I have done this.
Yes, yes, perfect now.
So in life, which is more important? You can write down your answers and later you can ponder upon that whether you were able to answer them just with a blink of an eye, or you had to give a thought to it. So whether destination is important or a journey. I would say that if the partner is good, then journey would be more interesting. How many of you gel with that? I don't know. And these are few questions which we all need to answer. Whether playing well or winning, what should be your motto? Shopping or owning? You want a great job or a great pay? Sometimes we struggle a lot with us. We are not enjoying the job. We are not having any such kind of incentive to work. But if you have a great job but a lesser pay, would you be able to work there? Or a great pay but a very, very humiliating kind of experience at your job. So let us all give an honest answer to all these questions. Driving out station or arriving, sleeping or awaking, enjoying or finishing the book, studying or taking exams. And please, my dear members, please don't give any kind of strategic answer that the situation will decide what kind of response we would like to give, because we are very clear if given any option in any situation that what would be our preference. So given this background, this has a very, very pertinent effect on the entire session that we are going to have ahead. So when we talk about OB, I think most of us know about what is OBE, and that is the outcome-based education. And this is a very innovative method in India, we should say, that focuses on what students can actually do after they are taught. It's not that what we have taught them. So here the key word is teaching, or they are able to learn what we have taught them. So why is it important to know the outcomes prior to planning and teaching? Can anyone answer this? Any of my participants?
Ma'am, whether the student likes the teaching or not, they will try to learn what the goal is. If we say them, your goal is this, then they will try to attain that goal even without the help of the teachers.
Okay, that's great. Anyone else? That's a very, very natural question, that the planning and teaching should be done first and then the outcomes should be taken care of, or the outcomes first have to be planned and then the planning and teaching has to be done.
Outcome should be planned first of all, ma'am.
Yeah. And who is going to decide the outcomes of the courses that we are delivering as a teacher? Our HOD, our principal, our dean of academics, our vice principal, or other stakeholders?
For the course point of view, the course coordinator, the one who is taking the subject, should have the outcome of their subject concern prior to, on the prior basis.
That is the correct answer I was looking forward to, because many of us as the faculty, we just get the syllabus from the college, wherever we join, and then we start delivering that syllabus irrespective of the outcomes are tangible. They can be measurable or they can be achievable. But whenever it comes to the results, whenever it comes to the outcomes, the very simple answer that we get from them is, it was not designed by me. It was just handed over to me and I had just delivered it. Isn't it?
Yeah, very true, ma'am.
There comes the onus of the very first unit, who is the most responsible person, because faculty is the first point of contact. So I would urge all of you who are the first or the primary point of contact with their students as the course faculty, please go through the outcomes of that particular course, whether the outcomes are as per the level of the learnings of the student or not, if it is a first year student or a second year student or the final year student. So as the faculty member, this is your prime responsibility, that before teaching, before planning your lesson plans, before delivering any kind of module, please ensure that the outcomes that have been stated, they are properly planned or not, properly drafted or not. So this is the very important and the brainstorming session that we are going to have ahead. So these are few of the units that we will be covering, that what actually learning outcomes are intended for. That means, what do you want the students to learn? If you are a teacher of finance, then you just want them to answer or define what is a financial statement, or you also want them to design, to draft a financial statement. They should be able to analyze a balance sheet. They should be able to make a cash flow statement, or they just can solve the numerical problems that you give in the classroom. So this is what do you want the students to learn, and why should they learn it? As a teacher, we should be giving them some motivation, and from where that motivation would come, We can quote the example of the alumni. We can quote ourselves as an example that we had also been the learners. Now we are on this side of the classroom and you are that side. So how many of you idolize us, as you can also be at this side and you can be creating and you can be carving the future of the future decision makers, the policy makers. And how can you best help students learn it? Every single teacher has the right to plan those strategies. They have their own style of delivery. No one is going to tell you how you should deliver, but yes, the delivery should be intended towards the outcomes, and that should be the prime focus. And how will you ensure that the student has learned it? Because many of us say, "Hamara kaam tha padhane ka, we have taught that in the class. Now I'm not going to take care of 700 students. Have they learned it or not?" So there comes the role of the assessment. So we have all these steps, and these steps are going to make us understand that whatever we are doing for these 40 sessions, are they actually helping us in making our students understand and to do what they are intended to do after this course delivery. So here comes the concepts of OB that we are going to discuss. That will be very elementary, and we all know the primary focus of the OBE. Then what is the OBE model, how we can implement the OB framework at our institution, and how the key constituents of OBE can be framed. So I have already shared that the objectives of the session are actually going to be more imperative for the faculty to understand that how the understanding of the principles, concepts, and methodologies be helpful to you, how you can promote the student engagement and active learning, and how you can facilitate the networking and the collaboration among the faculty members. Because every course that is there in any program, we all know that a bucket of the courses have been put up in the program because there are certain outcomes of that program. So each and every course is complementary to the understanding of the other course. So that is why networking and collaboration are the keywords for the faculty to thrive in all their endeavors. So we are having just these many as the tangible expected outcomes from the session, that we shall be able to understand clearly what are the principles of OBE and how we can have the application, how we can have the improved skills in designing or assessing or aligning our learning outcomes, how we can have the increased adoption of the active learning strategies, how we can have more student engagement, and how we can make them to achieve more, and what can be the actionable plans which may help us to implement OBE principles in our programs and in our courses. So many of us struggle that what should be the actual learning outcome of this course. So we have to go through various levels to understand that, and that we are going to take up in the coming slides. Now, this is a very important question, that why we would like to have the outcome-based education. Doesn't this outcome-based education understood in the earlier times or what? So if I say traditional education system, then what does traditional implies to us? Let us say that the education before 2015, 2019, or after 2019, it is a modern. So what is that landmark year when we had the shift from the traditional education system to the present educational system? So I would say that OBE framework is particularly new to the understanding of the Indian education system, but it was much prevalent. The concept of Bloom's taxonomy, the outcome-based education, they were very common in various other developed nations, and we adopted it in bits and pieces. And when we say that, how did we come up with the transformation? CBCS was the transformation that we had in our education system. So if we look at the deficiencies particularly, so earlier what we used to have, this is the syllabus and this has to be delivered. So basically it was the teacher centric and not the student centric. What they would like to know was not our concern. What we are required to deliver so that the course is complete and we are able to take their exams. Whether they have understood or not, that was not taken formally into the system. Informally, the teachers used to take that with their own assessment methods. The students, they study because they could score well in the examination, and CGPA always matters. Today also it matters. But if it is action-based CGPA, that is, we are actually earning the CGPA just not because cramming was a good part of our memory, but because we were able to demonstrate all those skills and competencies. So yes, but so earlier, we used to have this ideology that grades and rankings on the basis of the rote memorization, that was the key factor. And lack of emphasis on soft skills. You see that when we used to study, let us say I'm talking about 90s, then that time we didn't used to have a specialized courses like soft skills. They were implied to have in various courses, if I say of management. Hello. Done. Okay. Okay. So, Neha, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So when we, if I take our example, so in 90s, if I say we didn't used to have any kind of, soft skills. If in management education, we just used to have the managerial communication or communication for business or so. But nowadays, since the environment is becoming so much competitive and people are becoming so much into like technology embedment, so we need to have these kind of soft skills also into our students so that they may learn that how to behave before acting on those skills, technical skills, so that they are able to thrive in all kind of environments. So there was a gap between the formal education and career-oriented skill set. Presently, we have the NSQF, that is National Skill Qualification Framework, wherein the curriculum has to be designed and aligned as per the NSQF levels. Earlier, these things were not having so much of the awareness. Then there were also like the objectives, the activities, the assessments, the class exercises, they were not properly, or the appropriate alignment was not there with some benchmark. And there were also the lack of assessment of the competencies. So now we have very specialized system of assessments also, attainment levels, then how we can get back to our like improvement methods also. So these were few deficiencies in the traditional education system. So now the focus of the outcome-based education is towards student-centered. That I already discussed with you, like what do we want from our students to learn? As a teacher, whenever we go to the class, we have some kind of expectation from the students, and so does the student also. But if we are imparting them the usual things now which they can find on the internet is loaded with all such kind of learning material, then the student loses the interest. So in that manner, we have to understand that how we have to take the strategic teaching and the learning activity, and how we need to have the engagement of the student and then the assessment of the task. So these are few of the points that need attention for any teacher to take into cognizance. Now, this is something that we are encountering from our students. Please go through this cartoon, and this cartoon gives us the very, very real picture. It's not what we teach, it's what they achieve. You see that as a teacher, I tell them how to whistle. I don't hear him whistling, but the teacher said, I taught him. I didn't say he learned it. So that's what's happening. How many of you agree with this? I can have a group answer also.
Yes,
Totally
ma'am.
agree, ma'am.
This is true.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it happening very practically?
Yes, ma'am.
But see, sometimes we are so much overburdened with our lot of responsibilities. I would support many of the teachers on this, that except for teaching, they are also given a lot of other responsibilities, due to which sometimes the teaching gets compromised. And the proper word now that we should use as a conscious teacher is the learning of the student has to be taken into consideration rather than teaching. So as a teacher, we ought to understand that whatever we are delivering in the class, we have to take in bits and pieces with frequent intervals, that whether the student is able to understand, whether the student is able to do what we have just told them. If I talk for now also, if I give you any concept and I start taking the exam of that or quiz on that, many of you would be asking from each other that what did the ma'am say? What did she say? We did not get that. But when our students say the same thing, we scold our student and say, where was your mind? You were not able to listen. You were engrossed in somewhere else. So we have to understand that it's not what we say that 100% of it gets remembered. I will come up with one of the model wherein we will be able to understand that whatever we say, whatever we listen, how much of that we are able to retain. And that is dependent upon the person to person. Some might be having 10% retention, the other might be having 90% retention, but we have to take the average. So sometimes it happens what we should actually say, it is the outcome or the output. These are having a very thin line of difference, but very, very important understanding we should get. Output is something that whatever we had put as an input and the output we have got in terms of the product or the services that we produce out of that input. So the input is given to a particular process, it gets processed through various stages, and the output is delivered. But when we say as an outcome, outcome is having a very thin line of orientation that is beyond output, that is called level of performance or achievement. So when we say the output we have got after delivering this lecture, but what is the outcome? So outcome is something which is measurable, which is associated with the process or the output, but have a certain level of achievement. This is what we need to remember. So this is what I said. Measurement, quantification of the performance is actually distinguishing this outcome with the output. Now, what is traditional education process and how we have come on to the outcome-based education? The input that we have to give for the outcome-based education is we have the teaching staff, we have the set curriculum, we have the labs, and we have the other additional academic resources. Now, what is the process? The process is teaching and learning through various pedagogies that we would be able to learn in the next slides. So there might be some short-term outcomes and there might be some long-term outcomes also. So when we say short-term outcomes, whatever program that we are having our students into, they will be having certain course outcomes they have achieved to be able to do something, to be able to show those competencies. And the students are also able to have those attributes which any graduate should have. And what are the long term? When we say program educational objectives. So when the student leaves the institution after 5 or 6 years, whether they are able to fulfill what they had expected, the industry is able to get those desired outcomes from their performance, and eventually these program educational objectives would lead to the attainment of the mission and vision of any institution. So how these like inputs, processes or programs, they are being put into process. The assessment is done by taking the exams, or the teachers are also taking various kind of assignments or quizzes. Then teachers are also taking up various brainstorming sessions for them, that how they can have the assessment of each other, what has been the lecture material that they actually discussed with the class, what was their flow, why the students were not able to take up more interest. All these things are taken into consideration in order to have a very, very clear-cut, continuous improvement. And that is very important. So these are the issues that we are facing in the higher education. We are having the accountability towards the students. That is, we are just fulfilling the requirements of the curriculum. In nursing education, you have a set curriculum, in dental education, in medical education, although they have given us the competency-based education framework now. But the system is so much defined today itself that the teacher is not having much of the autonomy to go beyond that. Then within that framework, we have to satisfy the needs of the industry, but we are having a lot of unemployed graduates from all the domains. Then we have to maintain the academic standards also, but you find that there have been a lot of discrepancies in terms of the accreditation frameworks that we are having. Many are getting very good accreditation ranks, grades. Many of them are not able to get despite having the quality education. So these are few of the issues. So how outcome-based education, would be able to address these questions? These questions have been also addressed in the past slides also. What do we want the students to do? What can be those motivational aspects that we can help the students to achieve it? Whether the students have achieved it, do we have those assessment parameters? Are they objectively framed or not? Or do they have any kind of biasness also, or subject of some kind of subjectivity also is there? And then how we can close this loop, that we can have a further improvement that we also call as the continuous quality improvement. Because if we are not continuously improving ourselves, somewhere we will become stagnant. So here comes a solution, that is outcome-based education. And 1994, it came, as I told you, that although it's a new concept in India, but it is quite old in terms of the adoption at various institutions at the international level. The focus is on the lessons that are learned from what students have learned. So this is very important core of the outcome-based education. We first of all try to understand what the students have learned, and then we try to plan and reshape our learning exercises to be given to the students. And we need to focus on the planning of the education system around those priorities which are important for the students to compete in this this particular dynamic world. And they are also the source for the operative communication amongst all the stakeholders. Stakeholders can be internal, external, whatsoever. So if I say outcome-based education, it focuses on the learning outcome statements, providing learning activities which will help the student to reach those outcomes, and the assessment to which the student meets those assessment criteria. Now, these are very important things we all need to understand. So outcome-based education is not just about planning the curriculum. It's also about mapping. Mapping what? Course outcome to program educational objectives to the mission and vision of the university, then measuring also, and then achieving the predetermined educational goals. And this would be basically instrumental for them to grow holistically. So we all know this. It calls for the restructuring of curriculum, assessment, reporting practices. So wherever this has not been implemented, I think this is the high time that outcome-based education now is the call for action rather than thought for action. It has to be taken in due respect at all the institutions who are cognizant of the requirement of the outcome for the nation. So now we need to understand what is the importance also. And this is, we have to understand that how we can have the shared expectations. Student and instructor, the most important bonding is between the student and instructors. Whenever the student come to the college, they don't come to see the walls. They do not come to see the auditorium. They come and meet you by saying you had been my favorite teacher. So please have that kind of shared expectations with your students. And that can only come when you understand the importance of the outcome that you provided to your students. Helping students learn more effectively and track their progress. So we have a mentor-mentee system also that has been implemented by UGC. So every mentor might effectively track the progress of their students, and where do they stand, what are their ins and outs, what are their weak parts, what are their strongest parts. So accordingly, the teacher need to take the action by tracking them effectively. Then educators also need to be instructed so that they can have a kind of conscious assessment criteria and the planning of the modules also. And outcomes are used on many scales, from developing curriculum for a program study to the activity. So these are various important features of the outcome-based education. And since they are having a kind of standardized curriculum, they are relevant to the industry. Continuous quality improvement is very, very essential part of the OBE, and very, very important. All of you will agree with this. No OBE, it's very difficult to get the international accreditation or even the national accreditation or certification. Do you all agree with that?
True, ma'am. True. Very true.
Yes. So sometimes to earn these accreditations, and accreditation are not just for the certification sake, they are actually making us to take incremental step towards the quality education. So in that sake, we have to get through this framework. Now, here comes the model of OBE. This model is very important for all of us to understand, because it is basically relating to the constructive alignment of our instructions. Now, what is constructive alignment? When we say constructive alignment, it means that the kind of requirement of the student and what the teacher is delivering, they should have a kind of symphony with each other. So how that can be made? There is a very, very important model that is very much used in the all domains of education, that is Deming cycle, PDCA. So if I say plan, whatever curriculum that we are going to design, it should be planned around certain outcomes. So what can be those outcomes? The course learning outcomes should be aligned with the program learning outcomes. They should be aligned with the program educational objectives. And those objectives should be carving around the mission and eventually the vision of the institution. So here comes the planning of the outcomes first. Now, how you can implement? Obviously, those course learning outcomes have to be embedded into the syllabus. Accordingly, the pedagogies have to be designed that I will be delivering this in this method. Role play would be good. I think the assignment method would be good. The project work would be good for them. Or just the kind of demonstration would be good for them. So there are various kind of pedagogies to deliver a certain course. Then what can be the learning process of the student, in what stages I would be making the assessments of those learning stages. Then after the student has been delivered with all such modules, we have to check that whatever delivery has been made pertaining to that course, pertaining to that program, and is that aligned with the university's mission or vision or not? Let us say that you are developing the healthcare professionals, and if the healthcare professional is not having the skill or the competency to take the blood sample, they have just read it in the books, and if they disclose that with you as a patient, so would you like to give them any of your blood samples? No. So we have to understand that what all activities have to be done in what mode, so that the course outcomes have to be aligned with the requirement of the program or the particular objectives. Any question here? So yes. So once the check part is very important, because that is going to complete this cycle, that if any kind of plausible outcome that we receive and it needs to be rectified or improved, then the continuous improvement in the learning outcomes framing, in the activities, or in the assessment methods have to be made. So this is a continuous process. Every year you have a new lot of students. So every student has a new kind of understanding, their skills, their IQ levels, they are continuously, changing. So we cannot deliver the same curriculum that we delivered 3 years back, 4 years back to the group of students, to the current students also. So it needs a continuous improvement, and the cycle has to be taken into consideration. Any query do I have here?
No, ma'am.
I hope everyone is alive.
Yes, ma'am. We are listening very attentively.
I'm not saying sleeping. I'm not saying sleeping. But I know that this is the high time for the dinners also. But Neha has ordered me to deliver this at this time. So I think people can enjoy their dinners also, and they can have a kind of dinner to their brain also. So this is a feeding to their brain, and they can feed to
That's
their
right.
mouth.
We here only, ma'am. It's been so interesting and learning session. So I'm here with you only.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now when we come on to the levels of outcomes, so we have repeatedly been coming up with these 2 or 3 terms. So let us take them in concrete right now. The larger umbrella that we have to see is the program educational objectives. So they are very broad statements, and basically they design the career of the graduated students. So when the students graduate, it's not that within 1 year or 2 years they start giving that kind of reflection of the objectives that they were intended to. After they embed themselves, they immerse themselves in the industry. So 5 or 6 years hence, we are able to get that kind of response from them that yes, they are able to attain what we had made them to work upon. So program outcomes, they are the second into the lead. So they should be aligned with the program educational objectives. And they are actually making, let us say it's an MBA program. So what do we want from our MBA graduate? If it is an engineering program, so a program has a particular outcome, which is a broader one as compared to the next level that we call as a program specific outcomes. So many of us get confused into whether it should be PSO or PO. So let us say that if we have the engineering program, so basically a student will get a BTech degree. So a technical graduate should be exhibiting, should be reflecting certain outcomes in terms of the attributes which have been well defined by NBA. But when we say that, what should be the explicit reflection to be given by an engineering graduate having the electronics specialization, or a CSE graduate, or an electrical engineering student? Or here, if we say in terms of management, then what any MBA finance student should be able to depict, or what should be able to represent, what he should be able to reflect, what he should be able to do. So there are, under the programs, there are specific specializations for which the specific outcomes have to be there, and these specific outcomes are basically aligned with the program outcomes. And the course outcomes are the smallest unit, which actually make the student to attain all these specific outcomes, or the outcomes of the objectives, or they meet the mission and vision. So basically the course outcomes are measured by the end of the semester. Program specific outcomes, they are actually giving us the result by the end of the program, or the program outcomes also. But when the program educational objectives are concerned, 4 or 5 years after the student becomes the alumni, then we are able to actually get a glimpse of whether our program educational objectives have been achieved or not. So these are the focus or the key questions, again, that we all need to understand as the teachers. And now and then I'm repeating it. This is the 3rd time that I'm repeating with all my able participants, that as a teacher, please give a thought to your own course. These 4 questions are very important to be answered by all the fraternity members that we have here, because you can be the change makers, and it is you only who can recommend all these changes to your program development committee or the assessment committee, and whatever is the structural organization you have at your own institutions. So this is the OBE philosophy. We have already discussed that the vision, I'm sorry, vision spelling is wrong here. Vision and mission statements define program educational objectives, then outcomes. So what if any of the program is having certain kind of accreditation body, then accreditation body as NBA also gives you the pre-designed and this program outcomes. You can take them as it is. And specific outcomes, accordingly, the program outcomes will be defining the course outcomes also. So these are the various list of stakeholders for any program. There are internal stakeholders, जिसमें हम mentor, society, faculty members, non-teaching staff, students, they can be the internal stakeholders. And our external stakeholders, जिनसे हम अपना feedback भी लेते हैं, and that is a very, very set process in NBA, in NAC also. So they are actually making us to review our whole curriculum and the activities as well as the assessment practices. So how we can have the implementation of OB in our institution? This is very important for all of us to understand that what are the sets of knowledge, skills, and attitudes that I have taken here the engineer, graduate engineer example. It can be applied to any of the domains, whichever domain you people belong to. So if you belong to nursing education, if you belong to dental education, if you belong to pharmacy education, each and every council or the statutory body, they have designed their own graduate attributes. Then the program outcomes and the course outcomes, which should be related with the mission, vision, and PEO statements. In the same manner, what can be the best model of the outcome-based curriculum that is also aligned with the NEP requirement is also much relevant for us to talk here. And many of the institutions now, they are aligning their curriculum with the achievement of these SDGs, like how this particular course is aligned with which SDG, this course is aligned with which SDG. So this is also the new development that is taking place in the educational domain. So these are the various steps that we need to understand in OB implementation. So this is again that we have come onto this framework in a diagrammatic representation. So short-term outcomes and long-term outcomes have been into the interrelation and into the complementary role with each other. Learning outcome, program outcomes may be short-term outcomes, but program educational objectives and the mission and vision of the institution is a long-term outcome intended for the OBE. Now, there are certain characteristics of good learning outcomes. Can any of you let me know? Any one of you. And I want a one-word answer. There can be so many answers, so we will be able to take up one by one, and we will choose top 5. Any characteristic for a good learning outcome?
Ma'am, it must be specific.
Very good.
It must be student-centered.
Very good.
Time bound.
Time bound.
Attainable.
Ma'am, somebody wrote in the chat box, attainable.
Attainable. Yes.
Another wrote measurable.
Measurable.
It is a smart.
Measurable. Measurable.
Smart.
Yes. Anything else? Something is missing.
Socially and environmentally responsible. Somebody wrote in the chat box.
Yeah, that is very conscious thinking.
Evaluative.
Let me show you that with the clipping. Yes, somebody said achievable or attainable. Well said.
Yes,
Well said.
attainable.
Observable. What do we mean by saying observable? When we are putting something that cannot be observed in terms of the activities which you give, let us say that if you want to measure the honesty of any person, can you see the honesty on the face?
No.
But yes, if you are asking somebody to fix a particular problem, if it is related to a software or if it is related to working on a particular project, I think you will be able to observe the kind of teamwork attributes being shown during that activity, is it? So we
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
understand that what kind of learning outcome we are able to draft, whether that is observable or not. And that somebody said measurable. Exactly. If anything that you cannot measure, I don't think that that has any kind of place. Now, what The tool you will be using to measure it depends upon you. But if it is not having any kind of measurable aspect, I don't think that it has any place in outcome-based education. So value, if you mean to say that how we can measure the values, there are so many exercises that you can do directly or indirectly with the students. And challenging. It also has to understand that whether that particular learning outcome is having some kind of challenge for the student or not. See, today's students they are very smart in terms of their learnings. So if you are not giving any kind of challenging environment to them, so they are not actually giving you that kind of response even in the class. And I will just share with all of you that there are so many good shows coming on these OTT. And recently I was going through the show that is called 13th. I don't know how many of you have seen this. So if you really want to see that how good students, those who are overconfident and they find it very, low to come to your class, that I'm not finding anything new, please go through that web series. I don't remember the platform on which it is there, but 13th is a very good web series for the faculty to design their ways of teaching. So this is, as I said, we have to close the loop by continuous improvement. So this is how that we can have the inputs from our alumni, the mission and vision statements, the various stakeholders, the advisory committee, and then we can we can review on how we can have the program objectives or the outcomes or the course outcomes, the analysis of them, so the assessment of them, then is there any kind of requirement for continuous quality improvement. So this cycle goes on and on, but you see that the loop is not having any open end. So wherever it has any open end, that means there is a gap in our system of implementation of outcome-based education. That gap has to be closed. So again, I have come up with this slide. You see, OBE is what the student should be able to do. Then OBC is how you have to make the curriculum interesting and valuable for the student in order to achieve those outcomes. How to measure what the student has achieved, that means you have to understand that the teaching, learning process has to be made in that manner that the assessment becomes very objective. And this is how we will be able to actually justify the OBE framework at our institution. Jahan par bhi we will find that there is any kind of anomaly, we have to understand that there is definitely a gap. If the students are continuously failing in a particular course, we need to understand what is the course learning outcome. If course learning outcome is relating to only the lower order thinking skills, then why the question paper is coming of the higher order thinking skills? So we have to map the level of understanding of the students also, and we have to understand that what should be the level of the delivery. So we as a teacher has a larger onus upon us, and we have to understand OBE, OBC, OBLT and OBA all together at one time. So this is, now you also understand, we all know that NAC is coming up with a very revised framework, coming up with all new kind of systems. And they have also put up their framework into 3 steps: the inputs, the process, and the outputs. And accordingly, the marks have been assigned to these 3 stages, taking care of like 4 criteria into input, 3 criteria into process, 3 criteria into output, and then you have the sustainability aspect also. So accordingly, the outcome-based education also is divided into 3 major steps: input in terms of what are the vision mission, what are the graduate attributes from NBA, what is the stakeholders feedback, and this has to be taken by the program assessment committee if you have, or any kind of name that you give to that committee, who assesses the program in the light of the stakeholders feedback. And then you must be having some advisory board at the departmental level, or any name that you give which takes care of this into their understanding. Accordingly, the process of framing the course objectives, or then the course outcomes, then the draft curriculum, then the COs have to be mapped with the number of POs. If any of the CO is not having the mapping with any of the POs, that certainly that particular course is not having the relevance in that particular program. So this is a very, very important point that we have to understand. If there are 10 POs, then the course outcome should at least be mapped to any of those 10 outcomes, if not all the 10 outcomes. But zero, will be something that we need to understand. This, if all the courses are having zero mapping with any program outcomes, then this is alarming. So we have to understand that this is a very, very, very important step and has to be done very consciously. And obtaining feedback from the two industry and the two academic experts. Now here, I think most of the BOS meetings now have the inclusion of the industry as well as the academic experts were already there. So industry input is also very important, and accordingly the industry expertise is taken at various stages, at various statutory bodies of the institution. And the approval of the curriculum, the syllabus is also done at the academic council level, and then it is then implemented. And this is the various, these are the various stages that we all need to understand. Now see, this is a very, very interesting slide. Many of us struggle that how we can have the OBE teaching and learning. So these are various activities that we need to understand, that it is a very holistic kind of concept. You just cannot go and deliver the lecture. It has to be mixed with the hands-on training. The quiz also can be taken in bits and pieces. Aapne ek topic padha liya, you take the quiz. Aapne ek unit padha liya, you take the quiz. The quiz makes the participation of many students at the same time. Soft skills, like at our institution, what we have done is we have a dedicated department, the center for giving up these soft skills. So they have been embedded into their course curriculum with the credit framework also. Group discussions, then you also have the access to various online material like YouTube videos, online courses. MOOCs are now mandatory by UGC for all the institutions. Alumni interactions we can make. Project-based learnings are also now the core of all the curriculum at various progressive universities. So you can embed that and give the credits also for that. Field visits, how much consciously you are contributing towards the society. So if you happen to see the NAC accreditations there, you have the outreach and the extension activities. So if you are making the field visits, so please see that not only your students benefit out of it, but you are also helping the society, the neighborhood, the community also gets benefited out of your field visits. If you are making the students understand what is a solar panel, so you should actually make them to visit and see how the solar panel works, how they are assembled. So if you are having 5 days for a particular delivery system, then 3 days you can go for the field visits, 2 days you can have a kind of lectures or the demonstrations in the classes. So this is how you can mix and match your course delivery. And accordingly, the assessments of the tutorials can be made on the basis of their memory, on the basis of their demonstration, on the basis of their participation in any group activity. Any question here? How many of you are following these kind of teaching learning methods? So this is for you to review that whether you can incorporate any of them in order to become the consciously making the students, giving that motivation to achieve what they intend to achieve. Now, we have talked about a lot for what pedagogical tools that we use. Here comes some innovative words. I don't know how many of you have heard this. There is something called pedagogy. We all know this.
Yes.
Here we are finding 3 more words: heutagogy, cybergogy, and pedagogy. These are the innovative learning, and I often promote the peer-to-peer learning. Gives you very good results because the students are able to connect with their own peers. Like in our incubation system center also, my team is working on how the second year or the third year students, they can mentor the ideation of the first year students. And in project work also, the first year students, they are getting the peer mentorship of their seniors. So this is how they can tell their experience, what was bad, what is good, what would impact more. So this is how that they can learn. This is called pedagogy, and this is becoming a very collaborative learning platform for many of the institutions. And this is giving a good results in terms of outcome-based education. And when we say as cybergogy, the name itself is very clear. When we are making online learning engaging the cognitive domain of the student, that is, what is he learning? What is going into his brain? Cognitive is relating to the brain work. How is he learning? Emotional work. So making them to actually understand the impact of these kind of pedagogies and how they are behaving actually in the social domain. So it is all related to the holistic learning of 3H. That is learning through the lectures in the classes or learning through those exercises through the internet enabled learning material. So by heart, how they are able to demonstrate, and socially how they are able to behave. Heutagogy, I don't know how many of you have heard this, but yes, we need to have a kind of self-directed learning for the students. Days are gone when you are telling the students what to do. Now you have to tell them, come on, go and tell us how you want to do it. So this is the whole gist of heutagogy. Any question on this? Anyone? Are my participants there?
Yes, ma'am, all are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So start now working towards heutagogy, cybergogy, pedagogy, and there are so many other gojis now, and they all come under the domain of andragogy, that is adult or the self-directed learning. So these are the various innovative pedagogies that we need to embed in our structural learning framework, wherein most of the students will find it student-centric, and we will be able to catch more of their engagement also. So these are the various OB delivery modes. You can have the face-to-face delivery. How you can do it? You can make the lectures through the smart boards, through any of the systems that you have. You can call the guest speakers. You can call the industry speakers from their own domains. And you can also have their active learning delivery. How? You can make them to present. You can have the small tutorial groups. You can make them to, have a kind of brainstorming sessions through seminar. You can also arrange for the colloquium. This is the active delivery mode for OBE. Cooperative and collaborative. Can I get any answer?
Ma'am, Madam Kavita is raising the hand.
Yeah.
Projects, madam. Project-based learning.
Yes, madam. Well said. Very good.
And laboratories also.
Yes. So when we say cooperative, collaborative, that should be problem-based. As madam said, project-based. Case study also, because in case studies also we form a group of the students and then they come up with the presentations. And hello. Now
Yes,
when we say experiential method, so obviously we all have the labs, the demonstration, the workshops, and students actually enjoy when they do the things. As we know that there have been so many educators, those who have said that when we hear, when we listen, then we forget. When we see, we remember. But when we do, we learn. So this is what the experiential mode says. In the same way, work-based learning. Any idea about what is this?
Internship, articleship.
Very good. Very good. Industrial training is there, work attachment, field trips, visits. Very good. So that's very encouraging for me that my participants are responding and they are not hungry. You can have that snacking also.
When you there, how we can lose the opportunity to hear you.
Okay. So this is the assessment continuum. And for every teacher, I would say, for every faculty, that they can have the assessments on the daily basis. They can have it on the weekly basis, quarterly basis, or obviously at the end of the course, we already have the summative assessments. So this is a very regular practice for us as the faculty, that we often give the case studies to the students, and we give them some kind of assignment, some quizzes also. Like in between, I am also asking from all of you so that you do not get asleep. And I may ask any of my participants randomly also, so that you are caught.
Ma'am,
So-
Madam Kavita is raising the hand.
Yeah, please. Yeah, madam, please.
I think she's not able to unmute.
It's from wrong time. I think it's by mistake.
Okay, okay. So these are very basic things that we need to just revive within ourselves. Many of us are not able to actually provide a very clear-cut explanation of what do we mean by saying vision. So there is a very, very simple way to remember that vision relates to I, and I's work is to see to the longest distance that we can. So when any vision statement is prepared by any institution, it's what they would like to be, how they would like to be seen in the long future. So they are basically designing the philosophy and the mission and the goals of any institution. So when we say vision, how do you see after so many years of working as an organization? So basically this sets the ball rolling. It has to be very, very simple. It should be ideally a one-liner one without having much of ands, because it has to give the shape to many other steps. It has to be short. It has to be very, very much distinguishing from others. How, we will see it later. Again, it has to be very much achievable. It's not that we have to touch the moon. Obviously, the people have touched the moon, our scientists have done that. But as a student, we have to understand that many of the things have to be kept very, very practical. And that requires a long, long effort for all of us. And they should be linked to the organizational needs, values, and ideologies. So how to formulate vision and mission statements? We should involve all the stakeholders first. All the stakeholders, all those who have a kind of impact on the working of the institution, whether that is the management, whether that is the faculty, the student, the our well-wishers, those who have been instrumental in conceptualizing that idea of setting up an institution, everyone. Discussion, brainstorming is the key word. Then what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the challenges, what are the threats that we might see or foresee? That also has to be taken into consideration before formulating this. And challenges that can come before the institution. Setting what can be the long-term or the immediate goals. Then accordingly, the strategic plan has to be set up. So this is what the shape of any vision statement looks like when it comes to the formal statement of any institution. You have to draft, you have to brainstorm on that draft, then the views should be taken on that draft, then they have to be reviewed by, I have put here SCAA, but that can be any of your stakeholders committee that you form. Then that has to be approved by the academic or the council, highest council or the highest board of the management that you have. And accordingly, that when any suggestions are there, they have to be reframed. So it's not very easy process that you cut, copy, and get pasted onto your institution's domain. That has to be very much well thought. Now, as I say, every institution is a larger, bigger umbrella. Under that, you have various colleges or the institution in terms of the departments. Also, some say department, some say college, some say institute. So whatsoever is the hierarchy that you have or the nomenclature that you have, so that has to be done at the departmental level. Then what is the vision of the department? What is the vision of the college? Whatsoever is the term that you use. Then again, the same process has to be followed, and then that has to be put in place. Now this, like for example, I've taken the vision of a particular institution which is having a department in electronics and communication. So to be a globally recognized leader in the field, very specific it is written, electronics and communication. What they need to do, foster innovation. How? By collaborative research. And what they would like to do, interdisciplinary education. So the keywords that are there, now how they are going to carve their mission, the mission would be carved out around those 3 to 4 keywords. So this is how the mission and vision statement of any institution should be built upon. So these are the simple steps. Take vision and mission of the institute, then the simple process that we have just discussed so far, and the brainstorming will definitely lead you towards some concrete vision and mission statement of the institution. So I'll not take much of the time in terms of how you should design the mission statements or the vision. But yes, coming on to the program educational objectives, they are actually the driving force to achieve those mission and vision of the institution. So as I said, they address what the graduates attain after 3 to 5 years of their graduation, and the guidelines that we should follow for the framing of the PEOs are, they should be very much consistent with the mission of the institution. Obviously, ऐसा ना हो जाए कि आपने 10-12 PEOs you have designed. They should be very much manageable. Maximum 3 to 5 PEOs are more than enough and should not go beyond that. Any questions on this?
But ma'am, there's a point that every course has a different CO and PO. It's not
Yes.
compulsory that we should have thought of only 4 or 5. It can be 5, it can be 6 also, or sometimes it can be 3 also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The PEO is broadly for any a particular program.
Right.
It shouldn't be like you are having 10 to 12 PEOs. That is
Right.
why it said, make it manageable so that you are having the alignment towards those. It shouldn't be you are making or combining 2 or more ideas into just one objective. They should be very much carefully and specifically outlined. So
Right.
they should be achievable. They should be having the specificity to the program. That's what I said. That should be not too broad.
Okay.
And very important thing that I should mention is every institution is having some kind of locality where it is placed. So locally, regionally,
Ma'am,
nationally-
one question, madam, please.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah, please, madam.
Ma'am, till now in NAC and any NBA, we are doing the attainment for POs alone for 3 consecutive years and saying our continuous improvement is there or something like that. But till now for this PEOs, for 5 years, after 5 years, no attainment. We are not calculating the attainment. We are not doing anything like that. What is your view in that, ma'am? We are just saying about the PEOs, and we are always saying that it is after 5 years we are going to measure that and all. But is it possible to do this? And whether just as we calculate the attainment of PEOs, is it possible to calculate the attainment of these PEOs?
Sure, ma'am. Why not? That is why the attainment matrix is there. And as I said, that program educational objectives is broadly mapped with how our alumni are performing in the industry. So many of the institutions, I would congratulate you that at least you are having the attainment of the program outcomes. Many of the institutions, they are just focusing on the course outcome attainment. They have not moved towards the second level also. So basically, when we are talking about the outcome-based education, attainment of the program educational objectives is very important for us to understand, because here comes the role of the alumni and the employers as well as the industry professionals, where our students are actually placed. They are giving us that what they had been able to demonstrate, what was actually the lacuna in the syllabus that they had. Because if they are doing well, That means we need not to make or defend or make kind of any improvement in our objectives framework. So this is how the whole cycle revolves around. And if Neha ma'am gives us this opportunity that she can get one more FDP approved, then we will host one more FDP on the attainment of the
Yes,
In
ma'am.
course
NAC,
outcome.
in NAC as well as NBA, they are asking for program outcome attainments for
Yeah.
continuous 3 years. And if they bring this also as compulsory, when the institute goes for the second time NAC or NBA, they are supposed to give this program educational objective
Ma'am,
also.
yes,
This
ma'am. I'm saying
compulsory.
because, ma'am, in the new framework of NAC, we are already having this thing embedded into their framework now. We will not be having the leeway in terms of, yes, these many students were employed, these many students got the placement. No. What actually social impact has been created out of these students, out of these graduated students, that is to be measured now. That is why we are working on the sustainability part. So this has already been taken into account, madam.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Only if the if bodies like that bring this, then the
Yes.
institutions will do, or else
You
we
see,
will not do.
madam, many of the ranking and the accreditation framework, they have taken the cognizance of that. That's why if you see that if we go by the NERF also, so they are not saying how many startups you have come up with. They are saying how many startups are unicorns, how many of startups are in the Forbes 500 list, how many, and if they are into these kind of, lists, then obviously they have created an impact on the society. So now the focus is on the impact.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So now we will move on to that. As I said, program educational objectives, they are mostly framed around with the help of the consultation with these stakeholders and their connection, consistent connection with them, networking with them is very, very important, because that will help us to provide some actually important feedback mechanism, as well as the continuous improvement in the quality that we need to make in terms of the trends that are taking place in a particular profession. So we have to understand that if 4 years back we were not having any kind of this minor option for, let us say, electrical engineering student to go for the AI or the ML or such kind of requirement that are requirement of the present. So these things are going to become obsolete if we are not providing the interdisciplinary learning to our students. And that is how the program educational objectives at various institutions are now carved around the interdisciplinary learning as well as social impact that any of the program needs to create. So this is just an example. I think many of us have these program educational objectives in their curriculum framework. So we have to understand how these PEOs for a particular program, they are designed, and then they are done in alignment, the POs in alignment with the program educational objectives. That is the second stage. So here also, if I say program outcomes, NBA already defines that. कहीं पर उसने 11 बता रखे हैं, जैसे हम फार्मेसी की बात करें. So and engineering we have 12. In the same manner, for MBA program also we have the NBA designed program outcomes. So they are well defined, and accordingly we need not to make much of the brainstorming into that. And we have to understand that those program outcomes are properly taken care of in terms of designing the course outcomes. And it's not that it should be always 10 or 12. Wherever it is not defined, you can keep it maximum to 3 to 5. It's not that we have to make it more because NBA defines more. So this is important step wherein we have to bring the clarity to the POs. First of all, we need to identify that which competencies have to be attained. And second, we have to define the performance indicators which will be making us to understand that yes, this competency has been attained. So two things we have to remember, two-step process: identify the competency in your course, in your program, and then the performance indicators. For example, here if I say, there is an example like demonstrate an ability to generate a diverse set of alternative design solutions, competency number 2. So the performance indicators should be very specific. This is how that you can put up in your curriculum framework also. So this is how this particular framework will look like. Program outcome 1 will be having various competencies, and various competencies will be having performance indicators, and accordingly their assessments. कौन सी indicators will be assessed by what kind of assessment tool. This is how that we connect the POs to the assessment. And this is how we can have the competency and their indicators for various programs. So these are just for your reference. I've taken the graduate attributes. I'm skipping that. As I've already told you, program specific outcomes are basically for those specialized branches of learning. And learning outcomes, yes, they are important. Cognitive domain should be addressed, affective domain should be addressed, and obviously the social domain or the behavioral domain. And here we call as how you want your students to think or care, that is affective. What you want your students to know, cognitive. And how you would see that they are able to do what you want them to do, behavioral, objective. So these are the different aspects of student learning. The course outcome should measure these. Somebody said very rightly, smart framework if we adopt for design the course outcomes, then that will be the best and the foolproof method. So if I come on to this OB implementation, it starts with very clear-cut statements. Then you already have the whole ladder climbing from course learning outcomes to the mission and vision. And the student should be able to have the grasp of the knowledge, skills, and the attitudes. These are the various glimpses of the innovative teaching methodologies as we discussed earlier also. Now for you as the faculty members, please see that existing curriculum framework requires some kind of modification or not. Please revise your specific course content and the structure of the units. First unit, second unit, third unit, are they really placed in the right manner or not? How you can make your delivery methods innovative, please introduce that, and that is going to have much of the engagement of the student. Assessment evaluation tools also are required to be done at the faculty level, and then you will be able to defend what you are teaching in the or making the students to learn in the class, and how you are going to introduce system of data evidence collection means if you are using a certain assessment tool, then that data is actually giving you the proper or the right choice of that assessment tool. That will be the best deciding factor for it. Identify gaps in the curriculum, and you please bridge that gap by adopting the suitable measure, and accordingly the attainment of the program educational objectives will be done by having the COs, POs attainment, and remedial actions are the call for action in terms of closing the loop of continuous improvement in the quality. Now this comes the role of the faculty. You should be having a careful planning. Please don't see that I have to just stay here for 1 year or 2 years, so let it be whatsoever, because ultimately you as a teacher would be learning, not the student. Please review that not only your course learning outcome matters, but whether it is aligned to any program outcome or making PEO also to be achieved or not. And these things are to be kept in mind whenever you are being allotted any of the course. And these are the roles of the student that we should make them understand, because many of the students are not looking at the syllabus part. They are just keeping pace with what the teacher is teaching in the class, and the teacher should be giving them notes. They are concerned with the notes, so please bring them out from this notes mentality to more towards the learning outcomes. And take the constructive feedback. Sometimes I've heard that teachers say, sit down. No need to put the question back. Or you are trying to test my knowledge. So please don't. We should not discourage the students. Rather, their inquisitiveness should be promoted. And I think all of us are having some administrative system in place for the implementation of OBE. Whatever is there at your institution, please see. You should always have a course coordinator. For example, any course is being taught by multiple faculties. So there should be a course mentor, a course coordinator, who will be deciding, who will be discussing along with all the course faculties that this should be the particular course outcome for this particular course. It should not that if X course is being delivered by 5 faculties, so 5 faculties will be giving different course outcomes. So here comes the role of course coordinator. Then there are certain modules coordinator, a program coordinator, then there will be the program assessment committee at the departmental level. You will have the advisory board, and then IQAC is the mandatory body to be instituted in every college or the university. This administrative system has to be put in place. And here comes the American educators, Dale. He gave the cone of experience, which is aligned with the Bloom's taxonomy framework. You see that Bloom's taxonomy framework is having 6 levels of learning. So accordingly, it has been designed that if you just read or hear 10% of whatever they read or hear, they are able to retain only 10 or 20%, as I said. So what will be the learning outcome? They will be only just able to define, describe. So this is a very, very good cone that Dale has given to all of us as the faculty members. If the student views the images or watches the videos, or we as a faculty, then 30% will be able to generally remember. And what is the learning outcome? Demonstratable or practice, apply or practice. So see that if we come to the base of this cone, simulate, model or experience, you perform a presentation, do some real thing, then only the 90% what you say, they will be able to do. So if you really want all these level of outcomes to be attained by the student, please adhere to this cone of Edward Dale. So these are some of the key important features that we are looking for. Are all COs covered? Reinforced learning is there. If there is any redundancy, please cut that. What is the course purposefulness? And if there is any kind of overload, please cut it down, because no one wants to read more if something is achieved within a relevant framework. So with this, I know that I've taken much of your time, and I tried to cover up all the principles of OBE. So I would now take a very short quiz that relates to all of these slides. So this is one of the case studies that we will be focusing. They are very crisp, very, very simple. Dr. Sharma teaches an engineering course traditionally. He delivered lectures on all chapters, conducted a final exam. Students scored well academically, but employers reported graduates struggled with problem solving. He redesigned the course using OBE principles, defining outcomes, aligning teaching and assessments, and tracking performance. Now, the question is, what was the main issue in the traditional approach? Students were not taught enough content. How many of you agree with this?
No.
Okay. Teaching and assessment were not aligned with desired skills.
No.
Please write
Yes.
down the answers in any at any place. Yes. How many of you gel with this? Neha, in the chat box, you please keep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, lectures were too long.
No.
No.
Students failed exams.
Teaching and assessment were not
B.
aligned with the
Yes.
How many of you go with this B? So let's see what is the correct answer.
Chat box is flooded with B.
Okay. So I'm really blessed to have such an erudite participant. Answer is B. Please clap for yourself. Which action taken by Dr. Sharma aligns with OBE principles? Increasing lecture hours? Defining measurable outcomes? Giving more assignments without assessment? Reducing content to half?
Defining measurable course out. B.
Neha, how many?
B. Ma'am, B. Everyone is advocating for B.
Oh, that's good. So I think I have to redesign my quiz. Huh? I have to increase the difficulty level. So this is how, see,
You
if
have
we really,
simplified everything. You have simplified everything.
answer is B.
Yes.
Now this is case 2, COPO mapping. A management program wants the students to develop leadership skills. Faculty defines course outcomes and maps them to program outcomes like teamwork, problem solving, and ethics. Why is COPO mapping important? Anyone? चलिए questions के answers देखते हैं.
Then only we will be able to see the attainment, whether the student have attained that or not, because we are able to find the attainment of each and every student for both course,
Yes.
each and every course. For each and every course, we can find whether the student has attained all the outcomes or not, or which outcome he has not attained and why he has not attained that. That also we can measure.
Okay. I am finding the encouraging response from ma'am only. I would encourage
Ma'am,
all my.
other are writing in the chat box.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's great. So A option is to ensure each course contributes to program goals, to
No.
reduce faculty workload,
No.
to skip assessments. I think that's good. To increase lecture duration.
To A.
A.
A. To ensure
each course contributes to the program goals.
Very good. Correct answer is A. Next time we'll be using our that is Mentimeter. Neha?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. For the next session, we will request the participant to have Mentimeter.
Yes. So we'll be giving them the instructions how to come ready for the session.
Yes, I'll give them beforehand, ma'am.
Yes, yes. A CO states students will be able to prepare a team project plan. Which PO does it align with? Come on. How many of you must be from the engineering domain or the pharmacy domain or the related one? So I think there is one of the PO which is common for many of the programs. Before giving you the options, can you come up with that?
for diploma engineering, it's the PO6 project management. Diploma engineering program, PO6, that's project management.
Okay, let's see, ma'am.
PO 11 in engineering, madam.
Okay, does it match to any of these four answers?
B.
Ma'am, in chat box, it's flooded with B.
Yes, that's right. Faculty collect student feedback, COP attainment data, and employer suggestions. They notice the students struggle with the learning outcome, but my students are not struggling with the learning outcome. I think the outcome has been well attained.
Yes.
But see, now here I need to, as I said, restructure. If the level of understanding is very good, then the quiz cannot be of very, simple level, because in that way we are not making it challenging to them. So next time when we'll be having our next session, I'll be making it challenging.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
The course is revised with more exercises and case studies next semester. Which OBE principle is illustrated? Lecture-based delivery? I think the answer has come. Yes.
B again. Continuous improvement through feedback and
Yes.
reflection.
B is our favorite one.
I think that. Writing effective learning outcomes. A faculty member writes, students will understand machine learning concepts. Another writes, students will be able to design a machine learning model for real world data. Now, please, the exercise that we have gone through for the last 1.5 hours, which faculty member do you think is better to make it clear?
Option B, ma'am.
Yes, student will be able to design.
Yes. This is the better aligned outcome with OB principle. Why? Next question is why?
It is specific and measurable.
Let's see that.
Yes.
It is more observable and measurable. Very good. I think A should be the answer. A.
Yes.
Yes. An outcome states student will be able to analyze marketing data and prepare reports. The assessment involves a multiple choice theory exam on marketing definitions. What is the problem? Anyone? Students will be able to analyze. Dekhiye, some of these outcomes will make you to review your course outcomes also. Students will be able to analyze marketing data and prepare reports.
That cannot be done with the help of multiple choice theory exam.
Assessment is aligned with outcome.
No.
No, ma'am, no.
Assessment does not test the intended skill.
Yes, ma'am.
Students will
That is the
perform
option.
better. Teaching is too easy.
Again, B.
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 I think B is the best choice. B is best.
Yes.
How can it be corrected?
By selecting the right assessment tool.
Anyone else?
Giving some problems
Lecture
which they can
only.
analyze
Okay.
and write a report. It can be given in the form of assignments.
Okay. Assign a practical project analyzing real marketing data. Give more MCQs. Reduce the syllabus. Again, B, I think. Huh? Yes. I think this is the second last one. Feedback and industry alignment. Faculty notices that students graduate with strong technical knowledge, but weak communication and teamwork skills. They integrate soft skill sessions, group projects, and industry mentoring. This is the case. Which OB principle does this reflect? Please. My witty participants. Which OBE principle? We have already done the principles of OBE. Come on, this is the outcome that I intend to get from all of you.
Continuous improvement.
Problem solving skills.
Okay.
Second one, PO2.
Let's come on with the answers. Teacher-centered learning, learner-centered, holistic outcome, focus, rote memorization.
B, ma'am. B. Learn concentrate.
B, option B.
Yes. What is the expected outcome out of this? Student perform well in exams only? It should be the expected outcome?
No, ma'am, no.
Students achieve measurable real world skills. I think
Yes.
again, B is going to
B
be
is the correct
answer.
one.
B.
Yes. Okay, so I think now by default, B has become the best answer. Continuous, this is the last exercise. After each semester, a university collects COPO attainment data, student feedback, and employer inputs to revise courses and teaching methods. What is the key purpose of this practice?
Enhance it for the next batch of students. Whatever the shortfalls are there, we want to enhance that one for the forthcoming students.
Okay.
To set the target.
Yeah,
Set the
any
target.
changes that are required, those changes can be adopted, those changes can be made.
That's good. Let's come on with the answers to increase lecture hours,
No.
No.
to close the OBE loop and ensure continuous improvement, to
No.
make exams harder.
No.
B, ma'am. Again B.
Okay.
Again, B. B is the correct answer.
So, I don't think now that we